as much of a concern or as much of an issue
Mm-hmm.
as it was going into it.
Interesting that you use the word appreciating. It's like you're saying you don't normally. We all think, we're thinking all the time, I guess, but we don't normally sit down and really pay attention to what we're thinking. And when you use the word appreciating, it's almost like we're beholding what it is that we're thinking and looking at it and saying, and that brings what you call the clarity, and then this meditative state. Tell me more what this meditative state. I think it's fascinating that you would use this word.
Well, I think that for me, you kind of have to get quietened down
Mm-hmm.
and in a certain space before you really have a deeper awareness of what the issue really is. I mean, you start out talking about this thing, which is not really the issue, the core or central issue. And then you just kind of move into that with a little bit of time, and like, boom. I mean, it can be totally different from what you started out with.
Yeah.
And I guess that goes back to the clarity and the insight that you start out on one track and you end up maybe on quite a different track.
It's like for me, is like going back and forth doing this talking and then listening and so on. It's like up here somewhere, this awareness is growing. And then pretty soon it's kind of like an over self or a higher self or a guardian angel or something. It's not saying a word, not having any commentary, not even nudging my listening part. But this other thing is becoming more and more obviously there. And then my own awareness starts becoming part of that, and that's for me what is so meditative about it. There's a whole other consciousness expansion that's happening that's not even being picked up in the dialogue, as we're going and we're clarifying or whatever about how it is that we're really feeling. I don't know how to describe that to anybody who hasn't actually sat and experienced it. And you say like it doesn't come right away, you have to stick with the process for a few minutes. And What a day this has been. Jeez. Yeah. You've had quite a day? Well, yeah, it's just been, here it is, 4:30 or so, and since I've been up, I've been in meetings. I've been talking to people, faculty meetings at Atlantic University, then a lunch with some people, and then talking about different things happening, and then a meeting with a group of people about a magazine and what to do in that and so on, and just got off the phone with somebody else, and it's just been all day talking. So you've been really mixing it up with people and talking a lot, and it's affected you somehow. Yeah, I'm feeling it. I feel tired. I feel kind of drained. I also feel hyper, kind of like worked up, charged up, full of energy, but also tired. Maybe agitated would be the word. I'm not quite sure what's happening with me. Okay, so it sounds like you're saying that you have different kinds of feelings going on inside of you, or even different things happening, that there's a energy, a heightened energy in some fashion, and at the same time there's a fatigue. Yeah, I feel like a fighter or something, punch drunk. I mean, hit this way, that way, and so on, and I'm all geared up, hyper, vigilant, alert, and at the same time I'm really tired, been sort of hanging on. It's nice just to be able to sit back and say, gosh, I'm glad that that's over for a while. So you'd say it's you've been like taking some blows or something, punch drunk, is having some hits, or you've had a lot of stimulations, what it sounds like you're saying to me, maybe, that a lot of input coming your way that's had all different kinds of impact on you, and you've had to deal with it and so on, and that has you tired too. You know, there has been a lot of things that going on coming my way that does have an impact on me. In the faculty meeting, I was trying to argue for the existence of a hypnosis course, and there was a number of questions that was being raised, and I was trying to honor what they were saying so they would feel heard, and at the same time, you know, respond and so on. And the other meetings, they'd be like that too. I wasn't just a fly on the wall, but I was a player, a participant, and some of the things that were being discussed would affect me. So yeah, I was being on guard, or I had an agenda or something. There was a personal impact on myself that I needed to watch out for, I guess, at times. And well, also things I realized too, that I had enthusiasm, was trying to help contribute, shape events, and so I had an investment, you know, in it. Yeah, you cared about the things that were being talked about. That's what I hear you saying. It really mattered to you, and because it mattered to you, you were more involved, and so it got you going. You're obviously you're more stimulated by what was being discussed, and you were trying to shape the outcomes of these things. Yeah, I do care. Do care. Try to get into these conversations and care, and sometimes maybe I don't really just focus on that particularly or give myself permission. You care about these things, and so you're going to go for a ride. It's going to be a dance. You're going to get involved. You're going to come away feeling tired, and that's kind of what it's like. I feel like I've been either wrestling for a good cause, or I've been, you know, trying to build a house, and we've been trying to deal with issues that came up, and I'm really trying to get that house built, and there's a building inspector and this person coming and so on. It's certainly not easy, like just sort of going down the river and saying, oh, isn't this a beautiful trip? Oh, this is so wonderful being here. Aren't we glad we did this? But different opinions. I'm not in a power spot. I can't say, well, this is the way it's going to be. I have to persuade people. They have their opinions and so on. So there is quite a bit of work involved. So you say it's like, I guess, a wrestling match, or something, you against the odds, or you somehow having to confront or deal with other energies because you're not the only one involved. You can't just boss everybody around. You have to deal with their opinions since you're not in power. So you call it a wrestling match. Things aren't just flowing your way. You have to make a case for it. You have to win your point of view, or you have to champion your cause, because there are other perspectives at work here. Yeah, I like that image of championing, you know, like I was a champion for a certain point of view as to what Atlantic University should represent, being a champion of a particular point of view about what would make for a good publication. Championing, I guess, myself in terms of my own role or my job and what the kind of work that I have to do in that particular role, in the valuing of my time and other different points of view. It's interesting using that word champion, because then I sort of see myself as sort of in some kind of a hero, someone who's done well, someone who's coming out ahead on top of things and so on. And I did receive some complimentary remarks and feedback and so on, you know, like, you've got a vision here, you've help us with this some more, or something like that. And so I think that it certainly I wasn't always talking and full of anxiety in these meetings, because there were those times when I felt like, hey, you know, I'm being effective here, I'm swaying them, they're seeing my point of view, they're smiling, they're what have you. But it certainly was definitely taking a lot of energy to turn them around 180 degrees or get them pointed in another direction. It certainly took a lot of work.
it wasn't, just a casual kind of thing that was